Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for the 25th of July, 2021. And welcome to Groundhog Day. I'll discuss that in just a second. But what is the big issue that I'm going to solve for you today while playing Brogue badly? I think I was going to play with pills. So, what do I mean? Like this, here I have a pink pill. I drink my pink pill, and it's a bunch of poison gas. Actually, it's a potion, and I did drink it. I didn't just take it. Those are the same kinds of pills that you get on the internet, right? You can find the red pill community. You can find the black pill community. There is not a blue pill community as far as I'm aware. I think the blue pill is a fake pill, right? There are two real ones, the red and the black. And there's a third one that I will call that they call the blue pill, which is sort of the capitalism of the pills. So the blue pill community is basically, or the blue pill itself is sort of capitalism to the red pill socialism. We say red pill isn't socialism, red pill is something else. I don't know what else it would be, but oops, I forgot to quote that. But it is telepathy. Okay, there's another one right there. So okay, that's far enough away that I can get through. Stupid. So there are all these different color pills, and they all come into being about the same way. There's a monkey down there with some gold. Let's see what else is in here. Now we have to kill things to identify this sword. And some chainmail. Not feeling good, mostly because this is Groundhog Day. Alright, so I have some problems with these pills. You might ask yourself, why do I have a problem with these pills? But they all come about the same way, right? And that way is basically a bunch of guys who can't get laid are giving a whole bunch of advice on the internet to a whole bunch of other guys who can't get laid. This is a shame, obviously, because okay, now let's do one of those indigos, levitation. So we got lots of things going on. Let's go this way. So there's the exit, another telepathy. Going away or going away? Okay, so that generally makes life a little bit difficult, right? So you want to, it would be nice to be able to give people help in this. It's understandable that this would be a thing. Especially if you've ever been, a 20-year-old boy, 20-year-old man, pretend that some of them are actually men. Most of them haven't made a man's decision. Many of them are still in college, right? Which is a way to avoid growing up for another 4 years. They try to say, in college, they try to tell you it's different. That the purpose of going to college is to help you grow up. But let's face it, you've met professors, right? Professors are not grown-ups, so I don't know how they're supposed to help other people grow up. So there are people trying to give advice about how to date to people who don't know it yet, right? And it's hard, right? Especially when you're young, and even more so when you're poor, right? So the guys that are at college, they aren't poor. They often like to pretend they're poor because they can't get money readily from their parents anymore. And they have to work for their own beer money, which screws them up. Jelly fight. There we are. I have a sword, so we're back to the original jelly fighting drawing. Right there. I haven't drawn any new ones. Not sure if this skirt should stay that short. Yes, I am sure. It should stay that short. It should especially stay that short because we're talking about the pills. That's the right thing. All right. So, it's a really hard thing, the whole dating thing, and it takes some time to get used to. And if you're a guy, you start off more or less at the bottom. Now, you could, have been born a Rockefeller. If so, good on you. But in general, you probably weren't born a Rockefeller, right? Somewhere you were probably not, heir to a giant bank fortune somewhere down the line, right? So you're stuck with your charm and your wit, right? Before you have any charm and before you have any wit. Now, fortunately, you're mostly interested in women who have no clue, right? Or I shouldn't say have no clue, but you're mostly interested in women who are just as inexperienced as you, but they don't remain inexperienced as long as you do, right? Because this is the unfairness of it all. While you, being a young man, ring of stealth or self conjuration, it's tough. While you as a young man are at the bottom, right? You are literally at the bottom. You will never have it as hard as you will from the time you're about 22 to 26 unless, you got really lucky. It's possible you got really lucky, right? That could happen. Wow, +3 sword. These other guys are all average. Probably should use the telepathy. This is depth 5 already. Okay, identify H, apply V, enchanting L, right? Women will find you more attractive every year until you're about 50, right? So that peak is pretty broad, right? It's from about, say, 40 to 70. You're just about as attractive. So, I mean, at least as a guy, you have everything improving for the rest of your life, basically, right, as far as your dating is concerned. The only kind of issue in all that is that you're basically only interested in women who are at their peak sort of value, right, where the age where everybody's interested in them. And, you know, that's the way it is, right? That's not going to come as a surprise. To anyone. What did the monkey steal? Right, we all know that you're at the bottom of your game when you start out. And it sucks. And so you're going to need, you know, a little bit of help. That's just the way of things, right? You need a little bit of help when you start out, when you're dating. And, you know, there are people out there who are willing to give it to you. And unfortunately, most of them are charlatans and liars, right? And that's how you get the red pill community, and that's how you get the black pill community. The red pill community, of course, comes first. And they're the ones who make up this fake thing that we're going to call the blue pill community. Okay, and they're going to make it up because they're going to have gotten a lot of rotten advice over the years, especially from women. Okay, and it's not bad advice. It's well-meaning advice, you know, that people give young guys. It's just that it doesn't work, right? And, as a young guy who's all alone, especially if you're poor, right? If you're poor, you're probably less likely to get some extra time with your parents. If you're poor, you're more likely to have issues with money, right? So if you're poor, life is a little tougher. Guess what? Even then, for the rest of us. I shouldn't say for the rest of us. Mainly because I was really poor. Did I see what this was? Telepathy? Oh, crap. But these guys, people are giving advice to these young men. It's bad advice. And some of the people who are on the receiving end of that bad advice decided to give it a name, which is the blue pill. And this is all after, Matrix stuff, because that's sort of the level of these dudes, right? And so, people decide they need a way to figure out okay, I have a potion of strength, so that'll cancel that out. They need a way to get better advice. They need some better advice about your about dating, right? And there's some several things that should be part of that better advice. And the red pill guys include it. The first thing is it shouldn't be hopeless. The reason why I say that is because we know it's not hopeless. Because no matter how ugly you are, your dad is just as ugly, right? And you know that he got it on with your mama at least once, right? So, we are pretty sure, I can't say we're fully, totally sure, that you have a chance with at least someone as pretty as your mother. All right? How about that? You are going to find someone as good looking as your mother. Maybe no more, but at least as good looking as your mother. Okay? You are capable of doing that. You are perfectly fine. Okay? I don't want to say there's someone out there for everyone, because that sounds like some more bad advice, right? Kind of stuff that you get from the people that inspired the blue pill, right? Or if you're just nice and everything's okay and you open doors for ladies, they'll open their, if you open a door for a lady, she'll spread her legs, sort of stuff, right? That's not what's going to happen, right? But I'm not going to say that it's a bad idea to be nice to women. In fact, sometimes you get advice like it's a bad idea to be nice to women, and whenever you get that, you should be pretty leery, because that's not good advice. Right. The way to get right. What's the old saying? More flies with honey than with vinegar, right? That's usually for women, but it's true. Women also prefer somebody who doesn't make them sad. Okay? They don't want to hear somebody who's angry all the time, right? They want to have somebody who's fun and enjoyable to be around. So, don't be a jerk. Okay? Whatever it is that people are trying to tell you, don't be a jerk, right? So, like I said, it's a pretty good. Do you have to have any potion? No. At least I don't feel a sense of loss. Chanting, detect magic, incineration. Okay. So they made up, the good thing about the red pill guys is that they said, okay, what are the things you can do to improve yourself? Because that's what guys want, right? And let's be honest, you're starting off at the bottom, and whatever it is you do, your dating life is going to improve. Okay. But you really do need to do something, right? Okay, fire immunity. Do I have a bad one? No, so we'll do... Oops. Okay, so you as a guy need to do something, right? You need to be working at it. Even if what you're doing is not ideal. You need to do something. You need to work on whatever, your game, or whatever you want to call it, right? Just working on yourself. Because if you're not doing anything, then you're just going to be upset with yourself, right? Because you're not doing anything, you're not making any headway, so you're just going to be pissed, right? Now, it might take you a little while to make any headway, but at least you're doing something. If you're learning to bathe, which is a really good thing, a lot of guys, you know this if you work in a college, a lot of guys at 18 haven't figured out what the shower is for. And I don't know why that is. They all have mothers, right? They all have fathers. And, if you're going to college, you probably know who your father was. I mean, it's not the... how should I say it? You're not... You're not really the kind of person. You don't really have the issues that the really deprived people have, even if you sort of feel like it. So it's easy when you're in college to feel like because your daddy's just a lawyer, you're not, you're sort of lower middle class, right? Sort of a weird thing about college, right? Is that a lot of times you end up getting placed with people who are completely and utterly weird. And by weird, I mean much richer than people should be, right? I shouldn't say that. I don't have any problems with people being super rich. But there are a lot of people, depending on what college you go to, that are really much richer than you'd ever expect anybody to be. And that's an issue. No, that's not much of an issue. That's something some of us don't like, right? But it's okay. And by some of us, I mean you. All right. You're ultra sensitive to those sorts of issues. when you're that age, right? So you could end up being really upset with your life, not so much because your life sucks, but just because you've ended up being around a bunch of people who randomly drew better than you. And for most of your life, that's not really going to be true. It might even feel that way later, right? But for most of your life, it will not be true, right? For most of your life, you're going to be, all sorts of things I could have done. You're going to be in the best position. So, so you will be perfectly fine later on. It's just that, it's kind of difficult, and some people have taken advantage of that. They created this thing called the red pill. And like I said, the red pill has some good things going for it, right? And that is, it tells you can work on things. Unfortunately, some of the things that it tells you to work on are utter shit, okay? And you should probably ignore the assholes. Now, there's another set of assholes, and those are the black pill guys, who figured this out and gave a whole bunch of other bullshit that you shouldn't listen to. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to say, okay, these red pill guys figured out that the blue pill kids who don't exist, because the blue pill is the socialism to red pills, or the blue pill is the capitalism to the red pill's socialism. So they figured out that all this blue pill shit was shit, right? So they invented some other shit that went and they saw an error, and they just focused on it, and they made a lot of people's lives miserable. The black pill guys, they saw that the red pill shit was shit, and so they invented some more shit, right? That also got it all wrong. Went completely the wrong direction. So, they're all fucked up, is what they are. And, that's just the way it is. At some point, I'll get to more of this, and I'll even at some point get to the point where I give you advice that I found actually goddamn worked, all right? And it's the stupid, most banal advice, because anybody can do it. And all you have to do is, have more than one nostril, and you'll be fine, okay? So, we'll get to that in the long run. I'll complain about the jerks a little more. Probably I'll go listen to somebody talking about red pill stuff again before I do this. I'll definitely go out and mow the lawn first. Because, somehow I got laid, right? I wasn't one of the guys who didn't get laid between 18 and 30. And I got laid, and I had some very nice girlfriends, all right? I shouldn't say got laid, so maybe I'll say that sleeping around is not a good idea. At least for me, it was not emotionally a good idea. So sticking to one girl at a time, that's a pretty good idea. But you have to remember when you get to the one girl. That's the only issue. So I'll probably talk a little bit more about the red pill and the black pill guys. I'm talking too much about the blue pills. I think I've said enough because, like I said, they're a straw man. They're not real. Right? They're a stand-in for all of the bad advice that you get from women. Right? Who are going to give you advice about how to date. Now, the good part is they're trying to sell. Good part is they're sparing your feelings a little bit. The bad part is they don't have any practical advice. And they don't have any practical advice. Why? Because they don't date women, right? If they're lesbians, they don't date straight women, and that's what you're looking for as a straight woman. You're not looking to date lesbians. And if you are, that's usually a problem. That's a problem. Don't try to date lesbians. And if you don't understand why, get some Venn diagrams out and try to prove to yourself why you shouldn't date lesbians. Something you can do with some elementary logic. So, we'll probably talk a little bit more about the red pill. We'll probably talk a little bit more about the black pill. I'll probably watch another video from somebody talking about those things again to get a better idea, and try to make sure that when I'm looking at it, and before I tell you about it, the last thing I looked at was actually from somebody who advocates what it is I'm going to complain about. Because you don't want to have detractors' ideas in your head of what these guys are saying. You want to have their ideas in your head. And then I'll give you the last thing, right? And you can pretty much stay away from pills. So don't take any goddamn pills. I'll say, have you ever heard Rock and Roll Doctor? If you haven't heard Rock and Roll Doctor, look it up. It's a great skit. I'll use a line from it next time. Anyways, okay, so here I was dumb, and I was mashing the buttons again, and didn't retreat to a safer place as the vampire bats came and attacked me as I was fighting with the wrath. And bad things happened. I could have fixed myself with the life, could have fixed myself with the strength, and I may have been able to buy a few minutes, a few turns with the Staff of Entrancement. So lots of things I could have done that I didn't because I'm a moron. Polymorphism, depth 10, still a little risky. Polymorphism, you could turn the wrath into a monkey, could turn it into a dragon. You don't know. All right. So, anyways, not the best run, but it was a run. Bye now.